Hey, what it do, ladies? All right. I'm also streaming this on YouTube. So if for some reason somebody sees this, my name is August Kershaw. I am a business and sales success coach, and I love helping women understand how to hone their genius in the online arena and get paid. Yes, absolutely. So I'm wait a minute. I'm trying to put this um in my group, and I think that I just did it wrong. But there we go. And I should have put a topic on it. But anywho, so I have this community that is specifically for Black women in business to help us have a space where we can talk about things according to the stuff that we go through. And that's just being real. Everybody has issues, but we have to respect the space in which we deal with things, kind of like with dealing with abusive relationships. If a child is in the middle of it, they need a certain type of therapy versus the wife that might have been in the middle of it that needs a different level of therapy. And so a lot of times I don't think we're sensitive to the fact that race does come into play. It can't be our crutch, but we definitely should recognize it for what it's worth. But anyway, so today's topic comes because a queen made a comment on one of my posts, and I basically just asked, what are you struggling with in your business right now? And so they basically said that their latest challenge is trying to do everything at once. They said they get excited about new ideas and projects. So they start one and it takes long to execute because they could get a little anal about things. And then they walk away from it. And then instead of walking away and coming back and completing that project, they end up on working on something else, then forgetting the original project that they started on. They have a planner that they even personally created. They've written things down on their schedule so they can accomplish the day to day and week to week, but they still feel like they have undiagnosed ADHD. So now I'm responding to that video, and I'm going to give that sister some feed for thought, as well as some of you who may be dealing with a similar thing. Now, first of all, this is not a final judgment because I'm not talking to that individual, but it's based on the expertise because of things that I have seen throughout the years as a coach. And I understand totally where this individual is at because I am a creative. Okay. I am a creative. And so I know what that looks like to need to create the emails, but that's not the fun creative part, and want to make templates when I'm doing some type of product launch. I know what that looks like to prefer to order trinkets and get stuff together to send with my books instead of getting out there and promoting. And so you could find yourself wanting to put your hands in a lot of pots and do a lot of things. But what usually makes it easier for an individual to slow down and focus is vision. At the end of the day, I'm big on challenging women to say, what is your vision? And to go to a place that's deeper than just saying, oh, I just want to have successful online business. I want to, coach women all over the world to be able to start a business and that it's sustainable and profitable. I need the inner thoughts, the inner depth of like, what are you doing and why are you doing it? Not only that, but you also need to understand the inner workings of making that vision come to happen. So if you have vision, then that means you lack direction. And so what a lot of women in business do, whether we like to admit it or not, is that we're not necessarily throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, but we really just don't know what to do next. And so part of us is like, man, they say we got to get out there and I got to promote my business. And so I need to practice writing this copy. But then you'll watch something else and somebody else will talk about imagery and how it's better to have 3D images or videos instead of just still pictures and slideshows. And then you'll find yourself being caught up in actually creating the visual instead of creating the copy. And so the reason why you're doing that is because, number one, you don't have true direction for what that stream process looks like for you to attain your goal. So like, for instance, when I do my summits, and I'm not going to get into all of this because I'm talking about it at the Business Mastery Summit for those of you that are curious about hosting it. But what I can tell you is what keeps me so focused and why I get things done in a timely manner is because I, number one, understand what it is that I want. I, number two, know what the end result is. And then I begin to work my way backwards. This is why vision is so important. Visionaries see into the future. So I'm already thinking backwards, and it's like, okay, I want the person that's at the event to feel this way, to experience these things. And if it's going to, for them to experience these things, I need this much time to be able to, create those things. I need this much time to be able to promote those things. But in order for me to have all of these speakers, in order to create and accomplish this thing that I want at the end, I'm going to need things from the speakers. And it's going to take me X amount of time to get those things, to create those things. You know what I'm saying? And even to contact those people. So everything is a streamlined process. Where there is no process, then you are prone to basically feeling like you were ADHD. So the first thing you got to do is say, why am I doing what I'm doing in the first place? What's the ultimate goal? What's the end? What's the expectation? What do I want to accomplish? And then what will it take to get me there? So a lot of you will say, I want to launch a program. And you go right to the end result and you say, I want to bring in 20K. I want to launch a program that's 90 days, that's $4,000. I want 5 people in it, and I want to make $20,000. And so then you create a product and then you say it's available. You want people to click the link. But there was still so much more that goes in between that. When you look at the promotional schedule, when you look at the applications, reviewing the applications, connecting with people, talking to them, payment plans, and doing everything that's in between. This is why a lot of you all fumble when you put products and services out there. And honestly, God blesses you by not having anybody sign up, because if they do sign up, they're going to be participating in a very hot mess. What they're looking at is going to be like, oh my God, everything is just all over the place. And people can tell the difference between technological glitches and your shit not being right. People can really, really tell the difference, being like, wow, for real, she going to try to finesse me and say that. Okay, yeah, the campaign didn't launch. It's like, no, you didn't test your emails and you never started that bad boy, or whatever it is. And especially if you are in a business where you serve other entrepreneurs, they already know what the real deal is anyway. So I'm big on finessing, but within reason. Okay, so if you are trying to do it all, and if you have to do, better yet, if you have to do it all, let's also add that in there, because some of you that are listening, you might automatically think what some of the gurus are telling you about how you can't do everything. And if you just pass this on and pass it on to somebody else, let somebody else do your social media management, let somebody else manage your email marketing. But if you are on a limited budget, and if you don't have clarity with your plan either, and you don't have systems and processes in order, then guess what? It's going to be very difficult for you to pass something on, because you have to pass that streamlined process on to somebody else. When I host my next summit, if I want somebody to be in charge of certain things, I can say, your job is to watch the videos. Here's a sample workbook of how I want you to dissect it and create the samples, the questions. This is what I do for my speakers, and these are the specific types of templates I want, but you put the design and the feel behind it that you desire to have. I need emails created specifically, speaking to the information that's going to go through in this summit. Here goes a sample of my email campaign that I did last time. You actually can cut and paste and splice and do whatever it is that you need to do in order for that to be able to be done completely by somebody else. But we can't just pass stuff on to anybody else, because we have to have perfected that process ourselves. So it's a combination of, quote unquote, perfecting the process as well as having the direction. So for the woman that said that, she feels she's undiagnosed ADHD, what is your end goal? Where are you at? And what are all of the in-between steps? And that's one of the most difficult things for many of us to do. That's one of the reasons why a lot of us hire coaches. My first summit, I don't know what it would look like if I didn't hire a coach to say, you have to do this, 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 and this. And guess what? A lot of things that she said, I could have Googled them. I could have found them online, but then I would have been second guessing whether or not I actually had to do that for myself or a bunch of other things. But trusting her and knowing that that's what I had to do, by me following all of her steps, it took my brain from being preoccupied with making sure everything was okay, which is what allowed me to be creative, because stress stifles creativity. And so since I was not stressed trying to figure out all of the other things, I was like, ooh, you know what to make my summit hit? If I do X, Y, and Z. And so you want to get direction, whether you find the bullet point list online, whether you get the information from a coach, whether you sit down and quit being so busy and don't be afraid that taking the time to write it down, that you're not going to lose time, and get that bullet point list out. And then what that overall goal is. And you see, when you know that goal is to get those clients, to get that paper, to get this thing done, you're going to do everything in your power to get there. But without the vision and without the direction, that's how you end up being scatterbrained. And then you justify your arbitrary behavior as, but at least I did something in my business. Yeah, but at least you did something, but that something that you did isn't necessarily going to gain you the right to make money. So that's just one example. Love to hear your feedback in the video. Love to hear your feedback in the community. And if some of you listen and say, oh, this was really insightful, but that's not my issue. This is my issue. Bring it. Bring it, bring it, bring it. Hopefully I'll turn some wheels in your head, and then I'll come back and I'll respond and give you advice based on what you tell me that it is. But this was my response based off of limited information, and I'm sure that you all could still glean something from it. So let me get my tail out of here. I love y'all. Talk to you later. Deuces.